All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's the topic of this? What's the topic of this again? Delphi, Richard Allen. There's no way that's his car. Well, I got news for people. There's a lot of people out there saying it's a Ford Focus. It is a Ford Focus. That is true. Uh, and I've seen a lot of people say, well, there's tons of them. That's true. There is tons of them of Ford Focuses, right? All colors, blue, gray, black, uh, you name it, right? Dark brown, probably, and all kinds. But here's what's interesting in the Delphi case and the vehicle that Richard Allen owned, and that was a Ford Focus hatchback, which there was only so many of them in Indiana at that time. Now, I've watched a lot of people say, how do you know it's his? How? Well, because for one, it was a rare car. They only produced so many of the hatchbacks. They produced tons of the Ford Focus, but not hatchbacks. And it was very rare at that time. And they were only in certain parts. And what they did, they probably, and I'm telling you exactly how they did it because it makes total sense to me. In this area, they tracked that VIN number. They found out that there was only so many of them vehicles that were sold in this area or that people had. How would they have done that? BMV in other ways. So, and everyone, there was tons of Ford Focuses in Delphi at that time. Yes, you're correct, but not hatchbacks and not black. So there you go. Could it be Richard Allen's car? Yep. And was it tracked similar to that? Probably. They would have called the car dealer. They would have had the VIN number. They would have known where he bought that vehicle. They would have known what manufacturer or what uh, assembly line it came from. And it probably led to Richard Allen. And they probably did check out. I'm not saying there ain't more Ford Focuses, hatchbacks in that area, but at that area and at that time, there was only so many black ones. And I do this all day. And this goes back to, like I told people, don't let technology get in front of you because they did this stuff and they solved many cases back in the day using old fashioned work. No DNA, no ballistics. How do you think them guys solved crimes before ballistics and DNA? Do your research, folks. That's all I can say. Is it possible that's Richard Allen's car? It's very possible. At that time, there was only so many there. And if they did their job properly, they went through every owner of a hatchback Ford Focus. So I do agree with a lot of these people. What's going on? How can they? Well, they're allowed to think that. How do you know it's black? How do you know it's blue? How do you know it's because the police and the federal government had a list of every Ford Focus hatchback in that area, and that was produced on the assembly line. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is old time investigating. And that would prove that that's Richard Allen's car because there was only so many of them vehicles in that area, and it was just a matter of time before they tracked it down. Why do I have to explain all this to these people? I don't understand it. It ain't me, it's the Lord doing it. But that is the truth, and I do believe it is the truth. I might be wrong, but I believe that's the truth. And that's how you solve crimes and pinpoint vehicles and cars. It's happened to me. right? They had a picture of me and my vehicle, right? Yeah, that's your vehicle. No, it ain't. Right? It's not my vehicle. You were led on a wild goose chase. Right? And then they found out they were led on a wild goose chase. Right? No, no, that's not my vehicle. And that's the pride. If you have a good investigator and people that are not corrupt, they know that's not your vehicle, right? They know that's Richard Allen's vehicle if they did their job right. You folks have a great day. Folks, if they can set you up to steal $1 to cover up a crime for one of their brothers or one of their people or whoever it may be, these people have gone as far to use very sick stuff to people to cover up either tons of money, anointings, whatever it may be. If there's a will, a way, Satan will do it to try and get away with it. But you got caught now, Satan. You got caught. You can't hide no more. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, you folks have a great day. You don't have to believe me. I'm not here to make you believe me. These are my opinions, my thoughts, and my scenarios of what happened in Delphi. I still believe there was many involved, and Richard was one of them that got caught also. I do believe that other people ran their mouths that they already had, and the shit trickled down. And when you're looking at 90 years or 40 years in prison, you think twice the first night that you're in prison and you're scared to death. You think real hard. Now, Richard could have been affiliated with somebody and it was drilled into his head like his military training. You don't rat on your friends, right? We've seen a lot of people go away and do that. I mean, they make movies about it. Even Stallone did that one where he was a mob guy, kept his mouth shut, did his time. He was innocent. Got out and ain't that right, Rocky? Hey, well, I'm telling you, they did me bad. I know they did. And that these people don't understand real life. Is it possible to set people up? You bet your butt. Are conspiracies real? Every single second. I think you folks better go back to school. And I'm the idiot. I'm the dumb one with a dumb brain. You folks have a great day.